So I'm joined today by Barnaby from the fantastic band that I've actually only just discovered myself, called Friends of Friends, uh, all the way from the Gold Coast of Australia. So, like, this is early for you. What time is it there, mate?
Oh, it's not too bad. It's 7 a.m. So
7 a.m.
yeah, we've been up for a
Uh,
little bit. We're ready to go. So
yeah, so 7 a.m. It's 10 o'clock for me. I've got to be up at 5 in the morning. So, yeah, I
yes.
did this for you, mate. I did this for you.
Oh,
So,
stop.
so I want to start off with the title of the EP that's come out, "Synthetic Flower Chainsaw." That's a great damn title, man. Like, and it
Oh,
does
thank
stand
you.
out. Like, I just want to know where it sort of came from and what the idea behind this one was.
Yeah, the title we came up with on tour at the end of last year. Wanted something that kind of like, I mean, part of it was just us mucking around a little bit because it's kind of funny. It's kind of long and weird, but part of it was also a lot of our sounds like like a junkyard full of different songs, like a just a weird little playlist of our favorite stuff. And so Synthetic Flower Chainsaw kind of encapsulated that for me anyway, like three kind of very like distinct words that kind of fit together but like are almost opposites. So yeah, it's definitely that was kind of the thought process, and then it's kind of blossomed into whatever the hell it is. So yeah.
It works, but let's talk about the single "Skin" because, like, this is the latest one you've released. Now, understand you've sort of said it's a love song that sort of became something a bit deeper, and it's more about feeling trapped in your own body or mind. Can you sort of like expand on that and tell us a little bit more about the tune?
Yeah, I think I always I always want to write kind of romantic, uh, happy things, and whenever I go to do so, they all just come out a little bit decrepit in a way. Not that it's like dark or anything, but I always sort of it's all the like hard parts about relationships come up instead. Like, I'm trying to sing like basically Skin is supposed to be a love letter, but then it ends up just being like questioning yourself the whole time, and questioning the motives of everyone, you know. And so it's like all the tough parts of maybe why maybe why relationships are fun anyway, but all the tough bits bubble up, and it almost becomes very self-reflective, like when you're like trying to make something work with someone, and you're almost like seeing all the parts of you that are problematic, and I don't know. It's a bit like that, I think, for me. So that's kind of what Skin ended up becoming. It's like, yeah, you're getting under my skin, but like in a good way, but I'm getting under my skin in a really bad way. So yeah.
No, in other words, don't look in the mirror ever because it can be quite
No,
scary.
never look. No, that's yeah, never look.
I believe me, I get that. Now, some of the tracks on synthetic. It's gonna be. I'm never gonna be able to speak at this. I've done
I
a full
know.
day's work, and I synthetic flower chainsaw. They're actually quite personal to you. Now, do you write these songs from your own experience, or draw on stories from the people around you?
I've been trying to be more and more personable in my lyric writing as I can. And I'm still not there yet. Like, I think there's better like I'll write something and go, damn, I could have been a little bit more honest, or I probably could have said that. And so that they're all the songs are basically just memories or like moments where I'll kind of like reflect on it and go, yeah, that was actually a cool little. I probably need to write about that. That'll make me feel better about something. Or they're always. It's always when I'm at my lowest. Like even the other day, we had some bad news about some things, and the only thing I could really do is I literally just came down to this room I'm in where we record, and I just started writing, and I think it's always more honest like that. So it I don't write from other people's perspectives. They're always mine. And I hope that it becomes translatable, because we're all very different people, but I guess we've all got the same problems. So yeah.
That's fair. Now, you mentioned that, you're in the room that you guys record, as it is. So, I'm fascinated by this because, you've done all of this by yourselves in your own space.
Mm.
No, like, I'm sure it does sound great before it comes across negative, but without like that studio sound
Mm.
and quality that can go into that sort of thing. How do you find working in this way do you find working in this way is more beneficial or works better for you guys?
I think um the really big advantage is there's not any time restraints anymore. Where we used to have to plan in advance, like almost 12 months. Like you would write a piece of music, and the point where you write it and then send it off to get someone to mix it, and you do the whole process, and then you upload it to the Spotify or whatever, it's a long time. Whereas because we can sort of just make it happen, some of those songs we only sort of finished. It felt like only a few weeks ago, so it's all like really fresh. Like that feeling of like if we wrote something tomorrow and someone could hear it in like 5 6 weeks is really powerful for us. And then I mean, on a practical side, it doesn't cost anything, so that that's huge. And there's no gatekeepers, there's no mix engineer saying, oh, like, are you sure you want to do that, or oh, I don't know about that sound there, like. And it's like, no, like, whatever we want is what's happening. And I don't know if that's a little bit like self-righteous, but for us it means that our what we make is what we make. It's exactly what we've gone out to set, and people don't have to listen to us through a filter. So yeah, it's exciting for us.
Yeah. I mean, it gives you full creative control ultimately,
Mm.
which is, I mean, it's always good to have the producer, the person there to help guide, but I don't know, to get the rawest sound, sometimes it's best just to
Yeah.
literally get it there yourself. But, it's interesting when you talk about like recording things, getting out on Spotify that quickly. I'm in my 40s now and I'm there going, I remember the days of going down to the record shop, getting the album, and, all of that process. Um, how do you feel like how people, consume music, through Spotify and Apple Music and so on? How do you think that's changed, how our relationship with music? Because as you say, for yourself, it
Mhm.
sounds quite positive that you're able to get those tunes out there that quickly to people. So what's your view on that?
It's a deep one. That is a deep question.
Yeah, it's
It's
early, but
Yeah, I think there's two parts to it. I think the first part is on the surface, Spotify and Apple and all these guys, it's totally democratized music. So anyone, your dog could put a song out and find an audience, and I think that part's great. Like we can all just find music and have a fan base somewhere around the world, and you don't have to wait for like a record label to come along and cut a vinyl of whatever. I guess the weird part, and I don't know how much it gets talked about, but is the fact that like our all our social media, like Instagram and TikTok and all the things we use, Spotify now is driven by a algorithm. It's by an AI. And whether we like it or not, like the temptation is to kind of try to bend your sound to make it as accessible to the algorithm as possible. And so I think the deeper conversation is that there's probably, like, we're not very big, so we don't have like a very large voice to be able to say this kind of stuff. But there's artists that would be making things to feed that algorithm, and that's nothing wrong with that. But I think we just have to be aware that we're playing with a double-edged sword where we've got music everywhere, but now all of it's not good. Like, as in, some of it's amazing, but not all of it is just like exactly what a human experience is. It is kind of driven by and shaped by an AI, which is crazy to me. And we do it a little bit as well. Like, I've had that in my thought process, and when you don't get on a playlist, or you don't get on Discover Weekly, like those algorithmic things, it is a bit scary, and you question a lot of things. But yeah, I mean, we're just trying to throw everything to the wind and make what we want to make. Um, but yeah, that sounds a bit philosophical, and I don't know how
Not at
much
all.
like
Do you know what? That's what I like. I like the philosophical thing when it's this late at night, and I'm making you think early in the morning for you. So I mean, like it works. But it's something I've always been fascinated by. I grew up buying records
mm,
and CDs and everything, and then all of a sudden my local place shut down, and I actually got forced into the download generation.
yeah,
And yeah, I'm
it's
always
sad.
fascinated people's view on it. So
Oh, I wish that I grew up in a different time. I mean, it the promo and trying to find your fan base would be. I can't imagine how how you would do it in like the 90s and 2000s. But I mean that part's better. But like I want to listen to a full album. I don't want to listen to a kind of decapitated playlist of things. I know that's kind of what we're trying to make
yeah.
musically, but I want to listen to someone's entire piece of music, entire body of work, and either like it or not. Instead of like, oh, I like this one song. That's amazing song. Well done. It's like I don't know. It's sad. That's me anyway, personally.
I mean, as I said, I can relate to that quite a lot because I've always been the album person. I'll see like the songs pop up, but this seems to be the way the music industry is going now. It's a lot easier to churn out those tunes and get it to your audience. So we live in faster times, let's be honest.
Yeah.
Now,
Yeah. Sure.
you guys are based in the Gold Coast, so very nice place down in Australia. The only thing that will keep me away from there are those big spider things. You got bugs that will rip my face off. It's
Yeah, it's a
terrifying.
few.
Um, but your fan base is gradually growing. I mean, like, you're reaching over to the UK and Europe and everything now. How do you feel about like people more internationally discovering your music? What was the impact for you guys on that?
Oh, it's really exciting because, like, practically Australia's, it's amazing, but it's small, and it's a
It's massive. I live
yeah,
in
it's a
England. Like you're
sorry,
like that. We're
I
like
mean,
that.
yeah, so that's what I mean. It's the country is so big, but we've only got like I don't know, 20 million, 29 million people or so, and so it's a tougher market, and you, it's exciting for us to be able to expand that because there's only a handful of bands that can make it work in Australia alone. Anyway, but I also am excited to make music that really touches on the human experience that can be universal. Like I don't want to just sing about like bloody crank some beers and have a surf. Like I want to sing about the human experience, and if that can reach an international audience, I think that's a hallmark of like, yeah, you're actually touching on the right things. I mean, like I'm acting like I'm a massive, but we're tiny, and even in the UK, it's small, but it is exciting. So
Yeah.
yeah, I'm pumped.
Well, I mean, you're breaking the immersion of a stereotype of Australian going out surfing all the time, but
Yeah, yeah, that's right.
but you guys have also toured with actually some pretty big names like, Kasabian, Seagulls, like the Wombats and people like that. What
Mm.
How did it feel actually to first get on the stage with artists like that? Because they are big, they're international. What was it like getting that that first in, I guess?
Yeah, I mean, it's incredibly exciting. Um, it's insanely exciting, and all these big bands, they're so professional and they're all really incredible. And just kind of watching how they do things as well was pretty massive, especially early on for us. Being able to get a few good opportunities early, we were just like, wow, okay, that's how you do stuff. That's crazy. So that was good and informative. But then I guess also I guess we're all supposed to dream about like what you want to, how big this can go. But I see a lot of our music being, like it's nice in a small pub, but it's sick in a big room. And when you've got the opportunity of a big stage to just go nuts and really unleash and have that moment to be able to kind of, I guess, show off in a way, like, look, this is what we can do. That's awesome. And exciting, and I want to do more of that and show people what why we're worth listening to, I guess. So yeah.
I mean, you guys are definitely worth listening to, and one of the big, like, accolades that's actually come your way came from Linkin Park's Mike Shinoda. Uh,
Oh,
you know
yeah, yeah.
he's given you guys a shout out. He's basically said, "You gotta check this band out." That's some high praise coming from, like, such a well, established artist. Now, what was that like to actually sort of go, "Huh, we've got some good tunes here," you wouldn't be necessarily second guessing yourself on that. So what was that experience like to get that and hear that for the first time?
Yeah, I mean, yeah, that was pretty crazy. We ended up catching him at the end of the show as well, and and we spilt a beer on him, and like it was just everything that could go wrong went wrong, I guess. But he's he's like the loveliest guy, like insanely lovely, and so dedicated to to music. Like he's just sold out for like all that kind of stuff, and so him being so generous with words and things was pretty amazing. Like Linkin Park was one of the first bands I ever like realized with like when you're a kid and you sort of like there's music around, but it was like like I remember being at like a hard rock cafe, looking up at the TV and seeing one of their video clips. Um, it was like In the End, or I can't remember. Yeah, and I was just like, okay, that's this is music. Like what? And being obsessed. I must have only been like 7 or 8. So I mean, that kind of like full circle thing for me was such a it became a bit of a rock, I think, for our whole thing. Like it's those kind of moments that really become the fuel, and when things don't go so well, or like if something happens that you weren't expecting, they are the ones that keep you going. Um, so yeah, it's insane.
Cool. No, obviously you've got the accolades from Mike Shinoda. You've toured with these big bands. Here's my question though: if you could tour or collaborate with anyone, and I mean anyone, living or dead, who would you most like to get into? I'm not going to say the studio. I'm going to say into your little workspace there and actually record a record with, or record a song with.
This is a bit weird. But the one person that I really want to get into a room with and just let them have at it would be actually Brian Eno, who is he used to be in like Roxy Music, and he's ended up producing a bunch of bands. But for me, like he is one of the all-time greats, that would take something kind of sort of personal, introspective, and really push it to its absolute limit. I know that's a bit of a random answer. I just
I
thought of
like
that then.
random.
Sorry. Yeah,
Random's the best though.
Brian Eno. I mean, if anyone hasn't heard of him, like he's such a dark horse. I actually think he ended up working with Fred again, and sort of that whole thing took off, and maybe he asked the right questions. I don't know. I mean, I don't make music like that, but uh, I respect Brian so much. I think he's incredible.
Cool. Right. Well, I've only got one more question to ask you. It's a bit of a fun one, but before we crack on with that question, I just want to remind everyone: "Synthetic Flower Chainsaw" is an excellent EP. "Skin" is a great tune. I had a couple of the other songs in my head there, but it's late for me. You give me up
Yeah,
past my
no,
bedtime.
they're
I
not
wanted to get one of
important
those
anyway.
nightcaps for this.
Yeah.
The last question I've got for you, though, I've been asking a few people this. So, if a zombie apocalypse kicked
Mm,
off down
mm,
under in Australia, what would your plan be? Where would you
mm.
go? Would you go and hide out in the bush? Would you go surfing, or would you just see out the end of the world with one last gig? What would you do, man?
Ooh, that would be funny. Like, imagine. I mean, it would be kind of silly not to like do something Mad Max, right? Like, especially living down here. I think we go straight to. I mean, we've got these things called this big shop called Bunnings. It's like our big hardware store. We go there with all our cars. We kit them out. It's like metal spikes on the front, and then we go raid our local music stores, and we set up a stage on top of the cars. And I think we're playing old school AC/DC. There's flamethrowers, and we're driving around trying to find Gasoline. You know,
Love
I think
that.
that's
Proper full on Mad Max. And
all
now
Mad Max.
all I can see is you on the bungee cables in the was it Mad
Yes,
Max Fury Road, but it's you now. Sorry.
yes,
You've ruined
that's
that movie for me, man. I'll just be like, there he is.
yeah.
No gimp mask or anything like that, just you.
No, we can leave the git mask at home. Yeah, yeah.
Barnaby, I want to thank you so much for like getting up nice and early to chat to us today. It's been an absolute pleasure.
Oh,
I ask
thanks.
you one favour, get
Yeah.
over to Europe, get over to the UK and play a few shows here. You know, we'll be glad to have you. My friend,
Oh, I'm
thank you so
excited to
much.
come.
Take care,
Thank you
man.
so much. Really
See you
appreciate it,
later,
Damian.
buddy. Bye.
I see ya. Bye.